inside another dimension, face battling barbarians and evil magic on a quest for adventure in a maze of monsters. Once you get into it, you'll never be the same. Hero Quest. Now, with 2 new adventure packs, the legend grows.
Hi, welcome back to Night Brothers Hobbies. Today we're looking at another sculpt of the Ogre Warrior, the female Ogre Warrior. We're going to use this for our Ogre Warrior tutorial, and also for a way to do some more dark skin variation. You've seen us do a more red fleshy skin tone for our dark skin tones, as on the dwarf, and in this one we're going to do a more warm yellow, so let's get to it. Starting things off, we're going to use Garagak's Sewer to block in all of our flesh. There's a lot of flesh on this one, but being the female, she's a little more armored, so go around and get all those big chunky bits. We got big buff biceps and arms, huge arms, clawed open hand, some leggies, some feet, some hands, and a face. And when you do the face, don't forget she's got some ears poking out behind all of that hair. So just go around, take your time, block all that in. It's a larger miniature, so there's lots of surface area. You can take your time and get things, use bigger brushes, get it done pretty fast. Faster than you may think it would take a larger miniature to do. We're going to use Gorgrunta fur on all of her leather bits. This is going to offset from her brown skin. It's also going to be a nice, bright, warm leather color. I like using this for leather armor. It's got a bit of a reddy tone, but it's really bright and colorful. You've seen us use this before. We're going to go on all of her leather bits, so all the straps, the double belt she's got going on, wrist straps, hair band, leg strap, weapon strap. And when we do that weapon strap, we're going to kind of layer it. We're not going to do every little wrapping. If you notice in the artwork, she's got some red banding on there too. So we're going to leave a couple of these little strips blank so that we can come back in with some red. We're going to use Basilicanum Gray here for our steel blocking, our metallic blocking. Not a lot of metallic on this, and you can also see that when we did that Gorgrunta, we weren't too careful. That's because we're going to cover it with metals anyway. So at this stage, you could use your Basilicanum and go over those places too, and just darken them up if you've already touched them with brown. No big deal. So just go around and get all that. Plus the underskirting that's underneath her leather skirt. So there's a cloth skirt underneath the leather skirt. Then we're going to come in with Nuln Oil, and this is going to be for her gray hair. Just go all around and hit the gray hair, or the hair, to make it gray with this Nuln Oil, and that's going to get into all the cracks, crevices. It's going to stain it, glaze it a little bit gray, little offset, collect in the crevices, give us that contrast, that shading, and skip over all the little bones and ribbons in her hair if you can. Otherwise, hey, we can touch up. We can always touch up. Skeleton Horde on all the bone bits, and all of these wrappings and extra doodads all over the place, along with the fur. Just going all over, pretty messy. Don't worry about it. We're not doing ropes. The ropes are going to be the same yellowy brown as the Skeleton Horde. Don't worry about it. It's going to stand out. It's going to look great. Then we're going to use Blood Angels Red, as we mentioned before, to hit some of these straps, to break up that color, to match the artwork, and just go around and pick some out. And I actually picked out an extra one that was probably bone. But hey, nobody's going to know the difference. You will, because I told you the secret. But nobody playing the game is going to notice that should have been bone. They're going to think, oh, it's just another wrapping. So hey, take that for what it's worth. You can be a little cheapskate like me. Alright, for our layering, we're going to come in with gunmetal and start building up that metallic steel. So going all around on the leather armor skirting, picking out all the rivets, as well as the metal armor plating at the tips of those leather straps. What else? She's got a big breastplate on. Just go all around and block that in. And remember, we're going to shine it up with a dark, glossy cover, so you can be cutting corners and soft blending and not having to paint over the whole surface area if you don't want to. Speaking of, I've got Nuln Oil Gloss here that I'm putting around all of that metal. And now Nuln Oil Gloss is discontinued, so you can do any kind of dark wash over top and then put a gloss varnish on top of that, or you can mix up your own glossy varnish with just a half and half mix of whatever dark coat you want and a varnish. Whatever you'd like to do, that's how you can do it and achieve the same result of that shiny black lined blending. We're going to go all around and hit those metallic parts. We're coming back with Wraithbone. You can see throughout the process that I've used Wraithbone to pick out some spots that I might have painted over, notably those teeth. I did those way earlier, and hey, I liked them so much, didn't have to touch them up later, I didn't have to do them now. So keep that in mind as you're going through and use this Wraithbone to get all of your bony bits layered up. This will be your mid-tone, your highlight, whatever have you. If you blend it, it can be both. So have fun. And for these bones that are hanging off the ropes that we did all the same color skeleton horde, you can just use the Wraithbone to pick out just the bones, and they'll stand out bright enough that those straps, those ropes, will look like hempen ropes. They'll differentiate each other, and you don't have to do them a different color. You don't have to blackline them or anything like that. You'll be totally fine. Now for our dark skin, this is our big thing for the video. We're using Mournfang Brown as our mid-tone, bringing things back. Now we're going to put this on all of the raised areas pretty broadly, and we're going to build up that flat muscle. But you can notice that I'm avoiding all the shadowed areas that we have going on, and this is a pretty nicely thinned out of the pot paint, I feel, that can give us multi-layer effect, so easy blending basically. And then we're going to use Scrag Brown for our true mid-tone, our first one that's going to really brighten things up. We're going to go around, bring that Scrag Brown on everything. And again, I feel like this is probably my best experience with a Citadel paint ever. The Scrag Brown, the Mournfang Brown, and the next brown coming up. Very nice consistencies. Holy moly. I feel like war color consistency, where it's like very thin, very, very layerable right out the gate. So just go around and hit those tippy top points. Get your mid-tone highlight details going on. Maybe 50% or 45% coverage building up. Soon enough, you'll have some definition. There we go. Speaking of our final highlight, we're going to use Deathclaw Brown, and we're going to build that up. Again, you can do multi-layers. I think for all of these paints, I did about 2 layers building up each one, smaller and smaller and smaller. So on this one, you know, I may be doing 20%, 25% coverage, and then I'm doing another layer where it's 15% and just blending, and it's going to get nice and crispy highlighted. So go all around and hit your muscles, these big old juicy biceps, these beefcakes. Give me the meat! And just go all around and hit those highlights, especially on the face. You want to build that up. Get the tips of those high brow ridges and the nose and the chin and cheeks and whatnot. Get in there, and don't forget about those ears. To finish off our metal, we're coming in with chrome, and we're hitting all of those highlight spec points. And remember, if you need help with figuring out where to put highlights for your chrome, you can angle, because this is true metallic we've been using, and that shiny gloss will help. You can angle your miniature to the light, and you can paint directly over where the light is the brightest. And that can help you out. But just go around, if you want to be creative, and just kind of wing it and see what looks cool to you. You can also just go around and pick the areas that you think the light would hit and looks cool enough to you, or looks like battle damage, or what have you. Go around with your chrome and have fun. Then we're going to be using Bold Titanium White. We're going to use this to give us a different white look on the fur than we have on the bone. So we'll be able to highlight this up, and this one will be a cool white, whereas the Wraithbone bone is a warm white, and that's going to go around, differentiate them to make them just as bright, just as stand out, and we're going to hit all those areas like so. We're also going to use this for our usual kind of anime hair highlight, our L'Oreal highlight, I guess. And so just go around and pick out some of those areas on the hair where light is going to hit. So you can see I'm doing some little streaky rod highlights on the front of her hair, as well as on some of those pigtail pieces in the front hanging down, and the big banana bits coming off the top. Then, of course, we're going to base like normal with our gray paint, texture paint, a dry brush wash, and a dry brush. And there you have it, our finished Ogre Warrior. Now this different skin tone really contrasts, no pun intended, against the leather. It really stands out against it. You can see that it's a different hue, different saturation levels. You don't have to worry about it blending in and being like identical, being too monochromatic. You can see the definition we've built up, the range. We've managed to keep that zenithal and utilize it as a tool. You can see it all here, nicely built up, nicely contrasted, looking real juicy, real saturated, real cool. I really like this for a dark skin color. It doesn't have to be on an ogre. You can use this on a human. Totally use this on any kind of creature or person or elf or otherwise, whatever have you. You can use this on your dwarves. No big deal. All that matters is I hope you found it helpful. As always, I want to thank my Patreons, give a shout out to them and their support. And a little update, I'm going to be gone for a month. I will be out of country and I don't have a backlog made up for life reasons. But I will be back end of August or August 22nd. So look forward to that. We'll be right back into the Hero Quest action, picking up with the Ogre Champion and the Commander and finishing off all the furniture and the Ogre Lord and all that jazz. And hey, maybe even by then, the Jungles of Deathrock or whatever the heck it's called will be out. We can pick up right there. We can just continue on the Hero Quest journey and not have to sidetrack at all. In the meantime, I will be updating my Instagram about what's going on while I'm away. Interesting minis or models and check this and that out. So if you're interested in that, at least there will be some content there, as well as I'll put some posts up on the Patreon. And if you're part of the Not Your Mother tier in the Discord, I'll probably be posting around there and be invisible and whatnot. So check me out there. Otherwise, I will see you in August with some more Hero Quest Against the Ogre Horde. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.